Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. So I finished just a few moments ago re-watching the Martin Bakole FA Ajagba fight. I say re-watching because I watched it first off with Andy in Scotland. We shared a screen. We had no commentary and we were just talking our way through it. Andy's a big Bakole fan. I had predicted Ajagba to win. I don't have so much of a dog in the fight. I would have kind of liked to have seen Bakole win. But I was sort of, neutral. Anyhow, it's a majority draw. Two judges scored it even Steven. One judge gave it to Ajagba. It's a fight that I think everybody is going to be dissatisfied about. And I say this because I've seen some commentary that people are saying Ajagba was robbed. And I've also seen some commentary to say that Bakole won. This is really the fight to decide who is the best African fighter, who's the king of Africa. And I don't think anybody's going to be satisfied with the result, to be honest with you. And in a way, it's the result that both fighters deserve. And I don't mean that to be harsh, but it was within the ability of both fighters to win if they had just done a bit more. Nice touch, by the way. Bakole came to the ring with an RIP George Foreman t-shirt on. That was a nice touch, I thought. The fight started. Ajagba was content to essentially dance a move, right? Like he's 240 pounds, 241 pounds. Bakole's 299. Let's just round it off. 60 pounds weight difference. So Ajagba is giving up 60 pounds. Clearly the fleeter-footed man with a better reach. Slightly taller man, 6'6". Bakole's supposed to be the same height, but Bakole's more like 6'4". He's certainly a big man. I'm not quibbling. But he wasn't quite as tall. Didn't have such a good reach. Bakole has a very good jab, though. That jab has got, it's got something to it. Anyhow, first, second, mostly the third round, Ajagba's able to move. He's scoring points. He's building up a lead. I think that was his game plan. I'm going to box. I'm going to keep my distance from this monster. I'm just going to box. I'm going to build up points. I'm going to, coast to a win. Where Bakole, it seemed to me, I'm going to hunt you down and I'm going to club you to death. I mean, it makes it sound a bit sort of agricultural, and Bakole is a more skilled fighter than that. But you get the idea. Bakole wanted to close with him and then just, beat him to death, right? And at one point, in the fourth round, I actually thought Bakole might be able to get a stoppage because he got him against the ropes and he was unloading. But Ajagba was able to keep his hands up and fire back, periodically, enough to sort of dissuade Bakole, not enough to hurt him. And then he would get back on and fight on the back foot. And funny, you could see Bakole saying something like, F you, fight me, like get him mad, right? Because he wouldn't fight the fight that Bakole wanted to fight. Which, he's 60 pounds lighter. He's going to dance and move. And you are too fat to catch him. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And this is why I say that it was within Bakole's ability to win if he'd come into the ring at 280. Now, he fought Joe Parker at 310. And everyone's saying, oh, well, look, he's lost 11 pounds. When you're that size, you can take a very healthy number 2 in the washroom and probably lose 11 pounds. But no, seriously, I think he needs to be, I'm on my hobby horse here. I do not believe heavyweight boxers should be coming into the ring at 20 stone, let alone near 21 or 22 stone, right? Convert it back to pounds here. I don't believe that a heavyweight boxer should be coming into the ring at 280. And 280 would have been a greyhound-like physique for Bakole. At 299, Bakole was too fat to do the job he needed to do, which was chase down the more mobile FA Ajagba. So Martin Bakole only has himself to blame, because if he'd been able to chase down Ajagba, he would have been able to unleash more bombs, in which case he might have won, but he couldn't. F.A. Ajagba, who was in trouble in the 4th round, in trouble in the 8th round, he wasn't really in trouble at any other time, though I never thought for a moment that he was going to be troubling Bakole. His game plan was to keep the distance and keep out of his way and box. It's kind of, you know, for me, I want to reward the aggressor. So for me, I want to give Bakole more credit because Bakole has taken the fight to Ajagba. However, that's not necessarily how boxing works, because boxing works by popping the guy and keeping him moving, keeping out of his way, don't get hit, popping the guy, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I think the CompuBox stats favor Ajagba. So I don't think Ajagba was robbed. I don't think Bakole was robbed. Both men said, oh, I thought we did enough to win. Yeah, of course they're going to say that, right? You know, this is to decide who is the best African fighter, a bit of needle between them. Lots of hugs afterwards. They seem to bury the hatchet, as it were, and they seem to be very, very comfortable with each other after. Lots of hugging and, you know, you did well, that kind of good stuff. Good sportsmanship. So whatever beef there was, 10 rounds of trying to knock each other down, you know, got rid of that beef. But it was a disappointing, unfulfilling, uninspiring fight. I would have liked to have seen more. I had some bucks on Ajagba, but I wasn't really super worried about it. I would have just liked to have seen a better fight. And we would have seen a better fight if Bakole took his profession seriously and came in fitter. I'm sorry, if he's fitter, he's going to do better. Ajagba, I think after he felt Bakole's power in the 4th round, he felt Bakole's power in the 8th round. I think he probably thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep boxing. There's very little point in standing and trading here. He's going to get the, you know, he's not the favourable end of that stick. I just didn't think he did enough, you know? So if I'd had to pick a winner, I probably would have said when I was watching it the first time, I didn't really know. I wasn't really scoring it. Rewatching it, I think Ajagba did enough to win, but it wasn't a good win. Bakole was more threatening, but Bakole wasn't fit. So somewhat disappointing overall. I think both Bakole fans and Ajagba fans are going to feel that, you know, they're not going to be happy. I don't think anyone's going to be happy. Both fighters apparently have asked for a rematch. Would I want to see a rematch? I only want to see Bakole fight if he fights at 285 or less. Preferably 280 or less. I do not want to see another 299-pound version of Bakole in the ring, because that's not the Bakole that I think can win fights. So, that's my view. Rematch between these two guys? Not really. I don't care who's the best African fighter. Neither live in Africa. One lives in Texas and one lives in Scotland. So, who cares, right? Both go off and fight somebody else. But Martin Bakole, lose weight, please. There we go. That's all I've got. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.